Day 14, the final day of Broncos training camp, and the best day, because you had joint practices with the Broncos and Cowboys, and let me tell you this, the fans were insane. RG and I waited in an hour of traffic just to get into the lot. They packed in the most fans ever on that hill, and it made for a really, really fun practice. Instead of 3 takeaways today, let's just go who won. I watched offense, you watched defense. Let's start on that side. Who won, Hank?
The Broncos won. The Broncos won on defense. It should have been very decisive. It should have been a landslide, 10-second knockout type of win. There was just this one drive. They're doing I think it was a 2-minute drill, end of the first half, minute 40, something like that. Need to get 60 yards for a touchdown. They kind of dink and dunk their way down the field. For about 30 yards out though, 25 yards out maybe. OJ Moody is in coverage on CD Lamb. Didn't work. Big old post route for a touchdown. That was the one downside. Outside of that, the Broncos defense beat the hell out of the Cowboys. It was unbelievable. Matt Henningsen's getting into the backfield. Mike Purcell's making plays in the backfield. One of those plays, he runs through towards Zeke, just kind of holds up. Bradley Chubb flies in from behind and just gives him a shoulder, knocks him to the ground. How
was that not one of the 7 things that caused a fight?
I know, there were 6 fights today. It was unbelievable. One of them, Mike Purcell just runs into somebody who's away from the scrum, rips his helmet off, bowls at 15 yards. Not like a real bowl, but like a Wii bowling where it kind of goes up in the air first. But yeah, it was chippy out there. Everybody's talking, but the Broncos defense was pretty dominant. The one thing that did go wrong consistently, these little slant routes out of the slot. That's a lot of Isang Bassi in there. OJ Moody was letting some stuff up underneath as well, but pretty decisive. Broncos win.
And you forgot to mention Nick Bonito.
I thought you would like to.
Yes, and I mean, I will say I watched a lot of offense, but of course, me being the guy on the hill, I had the best view of everything, so I could see both. Nick Bonito, not 1, not 2, not 3,
nope.
4 sacks?
4 sacks! 2 of them with the starters, 2 of them on Dak Prescott. It was unbelievable. I mean, he's been pretty quiet throughout camp. Yep. You see him come around the edge and you're like, oh, that's a good football player. 4 sacks, 2 with the starters. That's a special day, and that is probably the story.
That's got to be the story, and it's so weird because he does have a quiet camp, and then something like that happens, and it's like, oh, the hype meter can just go crazy now because that's the most real football you've seen in a day, and it's the best day for Nick Bonito. All right, let's look to the offensive side where it wasn't as decisive, but I'm also going to give the Broncos the win, and I feel comfortable doing this because I was reading some Cowboys reporters' tweets, and they said Broncos won the fights, Broncos won the practice, and I think that's about the right assessment here. Not crazy, but I think it all comes down to a 5-play series from inside the 10 where Russell Wilson threw 3 touchdowns. First one's to Jerry Jeudy. He comes in motion, wide open in the flat, throws it over to him. Next one, he throws it to Albert O, who has one of the catches of camp. Tips it with his left, tips it with his left, tips it with his left, pins it on his body for the touchdown. An incredible catch by Albert O. Then the next one, a route that was really successful for the Broncos today. Post corner, Kendall Hinton plays going one way. It looks like I guess you would call it a slant corner even with how short it was, and then he just shoots back to the other side. Russ drops it in perfectly, and that was again a route that really worked for them today. A first play of practice, Cortland Sutton runs a little post corner and Russ finds him for about 20. Next play, another first down to Eric Saubert. Next play, another first down to Jerry Jeudy. So you saw them move the ball. I thought it was one of Russ's most sharp days, especially when it comes to difficult throws, and you just love to see it.
You love to see all of it, especially the fights. And
I saw some pearl clutching about the fights.
Really?
Yeah.
Even so, here's a weird one. I asked Randy Gradishar what he thought of the fights. He was like, yeah, that's kind of a new thing that happens. We had joint practices out in I think he said we had some with the Niners. There was 3 or 4 times it happened. He said nobody ever fought. That wasn't a thing. He also said they got to take it out on each other, going to the ground and that sort of stuff. Yeah. But he never had any practice fights, which is a weird thing. Kareem Jackson also, acting as the fight breakup guy, he said that was a weird thing. Don't expect to see that again.
Yeah, that was interesting. I saw 2 different plays where Kareem Jackson could have killed someone today, and he decided not to. Yes. Which is, that's maturity. Right
I asked him about one of them, and the deep one, where he just kind of taken his legs out if he wanted to. He's like, yeah, I held up. Probably wouldn't in a game.
That's nice. It's very nice of him. 6 fights on one side, 0 fights on the other. A very interesting balance there, or lack thereof. That's going to wrap it up for us for training camp. Wow. Thank you guys for tuning in.